Hey everybody, I'm Mark Fuller. I'm an additive senior design engineer, and I've been doing 3D printing now for over 10 years. I'm a huge open source enthusiast, and I want to share with you why the DIY face mask frame is the most flexible and best design out there right now, and why you should be printing it. So, let's get started. The DIY face mask frames are extremely easy to print. They require no support material, and they can be printed on any hobby 3D printer. This is the large size. You can fit 2 larges on a standard 200 by 200 millimeter bed, or 3 mediums or 3 smalls. Not only is the DIY face mask frame extremely easy to print, they are blazing fast to manufacture. This frame can be printed in less than 15 minutes. That's amazing. You can crank out so many in one day. Let's compare that to 2 other designs that have been getting a lot of press. This is the Montana mask, this is the Kppen mask, and they have similar design cues. They look like a standard mask, but they're not. So by building up these sides out of plastic is okay, but depending on what machine you have, they can leak. So there's going to be a lot of questions for manufacturability and repeatability if they're coming from the hobby community, as well as they take anywhere from 4 to 5 hours to print for each one of them. Yes, you can print 20 of these frames for every one of these. Some other design cues about these, things I do like. I like how the filter material is on the inside of the frame compared to the Kppen mask, the filter materials on the outside. This leaks, so I would never print this design. Something I almost forgot to say is these masks both require some sort of gasket seal to seal them to the user's face. If you go on the website, they talk about actually heating up this mask in boiling water and then conforming it to the face. That is a requirement because it is super rigid. And then adding the gasket material on the inside. I'm worried that the gasket material over time will peel away and there will be air leaks inside this mask. And they're actually just using the adhesive that's on the gasket material. A better solution would be some glue that would actually seal them on better. You can see how flexible this design is compared to this one. So this is very, very rigid. The Kppen mask, they took slightly a different approach that's, I think, possibly more dangerous. They made a couple different sizes from a wide, medium, and narrow, male to female. And when you design it like that and just scale the model, what happens is the wall thicknesses will become thicker or thinner, more or less width for the extrusion. So the wider ones actually could have a better or worse seal than the other ones. As well as when you scale them, every one of these boxes is a different size. So you're going to have to print these and then match them up, and you should never get them mixed up. So a narrow box will never fit a wide frame. And that's just adding more SKUs in the product line that are not required. Let's talk about material you can print these frames out of. 2 materials that I are currently using are PLA or PETG. Now, PLA is great because it is very common in the hobby 3D community, and it's easy to print with. I've printed hundreds of frames out of PLA, and this material is pretty ductile, and it will conform to the face, or you can bend it to the desired configuration. Now, if you do have access to PETG, I prefer this a little bit more because it is more flexible and it will conform better to the user's face without heating it up. These frames are printed perfectly flat and they're very thin. So when they're placed in the face, they will conform. And this is very nice because a hospital can make these and give them out immediately, and they don't have to be conformed to the face. But it is optional to heat them up and conform them to the user's face. And this is really nice. It makes it more comfortable. And if you're going to reuse this frame, this is a great approach. And they're very simple to heat up. You can use your 3D printer if you have one, a blow dryer, a hot air gun, or boiling water. So I want to show you how to conform one of these frames to your face with boiling water. Place the frame in boiling water using some tongs. Just has to be there for maybe 10 seconds. Taking it out, laying it on a paper towel, and then you can quickly conform the frame to your face. Holding it there, and it's just that simple. And that's a perfect fit for me. A large design objective when building these DIY face mask frames was being able to use different filter materials. I knew that procurement of materials was going to be hard for the user, and I wanted them to be able to use whatever they had available to better protect themselves. As well as I had a feeling that there was going to be some great research coming out of alternative materials to help protect people. And I wanted these frames to be able to be adapted as quickly as possible for those materials. For example, this is the H600 material that became extremely popular after a University of Florida paper came out about them trying to sew DIY face mask frames. After that paper came out, I was able to procure some and then put it inside the frame and test it out and provide real-world hands-on information back to users about how it breathes and how it seals based off this frame. So let's start on the left-hand side and talk about probably the most common material that people have available, and this is just 100% cotton sheet that was cut out of an old t-shirt. Now, this is actually pretty effective. I'm going to leave a link down below talking about DIY face mask. There's a study out there that talks about actually how these are not that bad. Now, they're not a replacement for an N95 mask, but they do a pretty good job at filtering out large particles. But if you have a 3D printer, you can actually print out this cutting template. You can do large, medium, and small just with one tool, and you can cut out your material for your frame. Or if you have a 3D printer and somebody gave you one of these frames, you're able to print off the PDF I have online and then just trace it out and cut out the material as well. I still very much like having the filter material separate from the frame. And the reason is you're able to put it on pretty easy, adjust it by pulling it up, and it secures very nicely. But when you're done, you're able to just take this material, fold it up, and then you could put it in a Ziploc bag. You can wash it later and then put a new one on later. And that's actually a great way to use this frame, and as well as you can reuse the frame and clean it very quickly that way as well. Now, some other materials that you can use that are pretty common. This is just a rag. Rags do extremely well. Now, they're not as breathable as a cotton sheet, but they actually have a little bit better filtration than this. Again, in that study, it talks about all of this. And this is some stuff that came out of the community that I want to share that's been, actually, I think it's been fantastic. Now, this is something they've been doing over in Europe now. I'll leave a link for this as well. But some companies are printing these in the hundreds and then giving them out for free to their country. And the idea is that you can use just a 100%, just like a shop towel, or this is like a blue paper towel. And you can put the frame right inside of it. And this was not how I originally designed it for, but this is again, the community thinking and creating some great ideas you can fold it up just like this. There we go. Fold it right inside. And then the rubber bands can go right in the outside and it secures great to the face. And what I like about this a lot is first, the frame prints very fast, 15 minutes. These can be given out at the hospital at point of use. And they do an okay job, but they definitely will help decrease the transmission of any virus that's attached to larger particles. And then this can just be thrown away. Or if you wanted to go out in public, you could put this on, and then when you're done, you just take off this. You just take this off, and you can throw it away. Same idea with a paper towel. You can fold this up inside the frame, and I think this is a great idea. Other developments is this is an option as well, but you can take the same frame, and with this two-part tool, you can put the frame inside, and we'll do this really quick, and there's a video about this as well. You can put your filter material right on top of it, put the mail tool inside, and then glue it down. And once it's glued down, they're very nice because now it's sealed, and it's a lot easier to put on. And I like this a lot. So this is just, again, with the H600. This is with a just a furnace filter. This is like a MER 13 that I just found at the local hardware store, and the cotton sheet. So there's a lot of different ways to use this frame. This frame has went through a couple different design iterations to make it as flexible as possible so the user can use whatever material they have available to secure it to their face. In this frame, there are 4 anchors, and those anchors are great for putting rubber bands around or wrapping string. And you can see there's 4 holes, and those are great for elastic material if you can find it. Right now, elastic material is a little bit hard to procure. So if you can use it, elastic works great, rubber bands or string. So let me show you how to put the mask on. So placing the mask in your non-dominant hand, you put the filter material right on top. From there, you put the mask on, and then you can stretch the rubber band around the face, securing it to the anchors at the top and bottom. And there you go. It fits great. And it's extremely comfortable. And you can see that the material now conforms to the face, and I can wear this all day. Just as easy to remove, taking the rubber bands off. You can take the frame off very quickly. So that's one way. If you don't have rubber bands, or you want to use an alternative method, string works great too. So this is just yarn. You can get very inexpensively, so use what you have available. But same idea, placing in your non-dominant hand, putting this is just a rag right on top. You can press that to the face, and then grabbing the yarn, wrapping it around your head, you can just wrap it around these anchors, just kind of like how you do for a boat. You wrap the string around, and it secures very nicely. And there we go. So this is another great alternative. I like this because you can put a little bit of tension on it as well, and it secures very nicely. To remove, it takes a little bit more time. You have to find the ends of the string, just like this, and then undo them, just like that, and then find the other end as well, and undo that one. So this takes a little bit more time, but it definitely is an option. So that's with the string. Another method, like I showed you, is actually putting a paper towel on the inside, and you can see those anchors are still there. So then you can just get the rubber band wrap it around your face, and then they just kind of go over the paper towel compliantly, and then it secures very nicely to the user's face. This could be even a great way for a hospital. You can preset these up with rubber bands and wrap it right around. And you can see there's a nice breathing room between inside of it. And when you're done with this, all you have to do is take that rubber band off, throw that away. And the last one, and we'll do this rubber bands as well. I like this, but you can put the rubber band around the ones that have already been glued on. And the same idea, you can secure it right to the frame. And it's very simple. And that's why I like this design so much. So guys, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. We're always working and making new iterations to this design. And like always, please, if you can, stay in the house, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.